Hello again, YouTube. Jake here with Reading Too Much Into Things anime rundown for summer 2016. Let's dive right into it. We have some newcomers, a fair number of sequels. Let's see what 2016 this summer has for us. Right off the bat, we have the next season, or second plate, of Shokugeki no Soma, which I playfully refer to as if Iron Chef was a high school anime. Next, we have Relife, based on a web manga. The story follows Kaizaki Arata, a 27-year-old jobless man who fails at every job interview he had after quitting his last company. His life changes after he met Yoke Ryo of the Relife Research Institute, who offered him a drug that can change his appearance to 17-year-old and to become a subject in an experiment for 1 year. Thus, he begins his life as a high school student once again. Let me just leave out the millions of questions I do have about this setup that I'm sure the show will explain, but instead focus on this. This has a lot of potential to be really creepy. Next up, Orange, based off the manga. One day, Naho Takamiya receives a letter written to herself from 10 years in the future. As Naho reads on, the letter recites the exact events of the day, including the transfer of a new student into her class named Kakeru Naruse. The Naho from 10 years later repeatedly states that she has many regrets, and she wants to fix these by making sure the Naho from the past can make the right decisions, especially regarding Kakeru. What's more shocking is that she discovers that 10 years later, Kakeru will no longer be with them. Future Naho asks her to watch over him carefully. Wasn't this the plot of a really poorly received romance novel? I feel like it was. Maybe The Lake House or something. I don't know. Berserk, based off the manga. Guts, known as the Black Swordsman, seeks sanctuary from the demonic forces that pursue him and his woman, and also vengeance against the man who branded him as an unholy sacrifice. Aided only by his titanic sword, skill, and strength, Guts must struggle against his bleak destiny, all the while fighting with a rage that might strip him of his humanity. Berserk is a dark and brooding story of outrageous swordplay and ominous fate in the theme of Shakespeare's Macbeth. He's off the boat! The Gray Man, Hollow, based off the manga. Towards the end of the 19th century, Alan Walker officially joins the organization of exorcists that destroy the beings known as Akuma, mechanic weapons made by the Millennium Earl with the suffering souls of the dead. Alan has both a cursed eye and an anti-Akuma weapon as an arm, bearing the power of innocence, a gift given to him as an apostle of God. Alan, along with his fellow exorcists, must put a stop to the Millennium Earl's ultimate plot that would lead to the destruction of the world and all who live on it. And I'm still unclear on where this takes place in relation to the anime from so long ago. Rewrite, based off the visual novel. Kazamatsuri, a modern, well-developed city renowned for its burgeoning greenery and rich Japanese culture, is home to Kotaro Tenoji, a high schooler least privy to the place's shared values. Content to fill his pockets with frivolities, the proud and nosy boy whiles away his time pestering the self-proclaimed delinquent Haruhiko and indulging in his amorous feelings towards the oddball Kotori, equipped with a superhuman ability to permanently rewrite any part of his body to manipulate his strength or speed, Kotaro is naturally drawn to the supernatural. One special meeting with the lone member and president of the Occult Research Club, the Witch, Akane Senri, leads Kotaro to reviving the Occult Club by recruiting Kotari and 3 other members, the clumsy transfer student Chihaya, the strict class representative Lucia, and the unassuming Shizuru. As Kotaro unveils hidden secrets of each member of the occult club through their shared adventures, he will inevitably encounter a fate that only he may be able to rewrite. Ah, good. Another key anime. I was worried I wouldn't get punched in the feels enough this summer. Also, what is with all this redo animes coming this season? This is like the 3rd one so far, with just a hinting of such a theme at least. Mob Psycho 100, based off the manga. Kageyama Shigeo, aka Mob, is an 8th grader with psychic abilities. He could bend spoons and lift objects with his mind from a young age, but he slowly began to withhold from using his abilities in public due to the negative attention he kept receiving. Now the only thing he wants is to become friends with a girl in his class, Tsubomi. With his psychic mentor, who has no psychic powers, he continues his daily life, attempting to realize his purpose in life. Now, that may sound bland, but keep in mind this is from the original creator of One Punch Man. That said, this still has a lot of Saitama faces. 91 Days, original. The time is 1920, 5 years after national prohibition laws took place at a city called Laurel in the United States. Main character Avilo arrives to join the Vampiro family mafia, undercover in order to seek revenge for killers who killed his parents and brother in this mafia. A killing starts kills. Revenge starts new revenge. A story of vengeance and sorrow starts now. This is gonna get dark. Next we have a bit of an oddity. 2 different Danganronpa 3 series. Mirai-hen, Future Volume, and Zetsubo-hen, Despair Volume. Future Volume following the Future Foundation members trapped in a death game, while Despair Volumes follows the remaining cast of Danganronpa 2. Wish I had more to say, but I don't want to dig in too deep since I've yet to play the previous titles. I should get to that eventually. Maso Gakuen HXH, or Hybrid X Heart Magius Academy Atrexia, based off the light novel. Hida Kizuna possesses the HHG, Heart Hybrid Gear ability, but it is not strong enough to make him particularly important. His older sister calls him to transfer to a strategic defense school where many of the students, many of which are large-breasted women, use their HHG abilities to fight invaders from another world while wearing extremely skimpy pilot outfits. Kizuna's fighting ability doesn't measure up, but his sister has another plan. Apparently, having erotic experiences with Kizuna will allow the girls to replenish their energy or power up. It looks like his new school life is going to be full of embarrassment. The seasonally called for Infinite Stratos palette swap. 2 things to note. This seems, as you can tell from the synopsis, at least to be pretending to be self-aware, which I hope means more upending of Harem Playbook. And it's already ahead of the other IS copies that it doesn't have a blonde with drill hairs. And secondly, after watching the promotional video, are we sure this isn't a hentai that slipped in? Tales of Zestiria X, based off the video game. Sori is a human youth who grew up among the Seraphim, spiritual beings not visible to humans. Sori believes in the folklore that says long ago every human was able to see the Seraphim, and dreams of unraveling the ancient mystery to make the world a place where people and Seraphim can live together in peace. One day, Sori visits the human capital for the very first time. He becomes embroiled in an incident during which he pulls out a holy sword embedded in a rock, and ends up becoming a shepherd, one who casts away calamity from this world. He begins to realize the gravity of his mission, and his dream of coexistence between mankind and the Seraphim becomes more intense. And thus, the shepherd embarks on an amazing journey with his companions. Why is it called X? Next up, we have an oddity of scheduling matters. We have the second season of Arlan Senki, Heroic Legend of Arlan, but that only goes for about 8 episodes. And then the time slot's taken over by the new season of Nanatsu no Taizai, the 7 Deadly Sins, for another 4 episodes. I have absolutely no idea why they decided not to wait a season and instead have them share the same time slot. Handa-kun, based on the manga. Set 6 years prior to the events of Barakamon, detailing the life of Seishu Handa as a high school student. And a very interesting life it is. In Handa-kun, Seishu Handa is admired by his peers as a calligraphy genius and given the utmost respect. But Handa-kun himself is under the mistaken impression that the deference and attention he receives from other students is actually bullying. Handa just wants to live a quiet life, but hilarity ensues as one character after another challenges his position as the school idol, and somehow comes away as a fan, all while Handa is horrified and clueless. Well, that's likely to put another show on my watch list. Servamp, based on the manga. The story revolves around a 16-year-old boy, 15 at the beginning of the story, named Mahiru Shirota, who likes simple things and dislikes difficult things. One day, he picks up a stray black cat he finds in the middle of the road, and gives it the name Kuro, which literally translates into black. From this moment on, a contract between the Servamp, Sleepy Ash, and Mahiru is formed, and Mahiru is pulled into the Servamp war between the 7 deadly servants and their 8 sibling Tsubaki. I'm not sure why, but the title being a fusion of the words servant and vampire makes me want to quit and go to sleep. Taboo Tattoo, based on the manga. Seiji, a martial arts trained middle schooler, often feels driven to protect the weaker people around him. One day, he defends a homeless man against some punks, and the man gives him a strange tattoo on his palm in return. The tattoo is a secret weapon produced in the arms race between America and the Serenitstan Kingdom. Seiji finds himself in over his head when a powerful girl, using the same secret weapon, violently pursues him in order to retrieve it. His skill at martial arts may not be enough to keep him alive, but will he be able to learn how to trigger the power of his tattoo in time? I'm actually excited about this, since Taboo Tattoo was one of the few mangas that piqued my interest way back when I tried to get into manga as much as I am into anime. Nejimaki Seire Senki, Tenkyo no Alderman. Alderman on the Sky, based on the light novel. At war with the adjacent Kyoka Republic, the Katjurner Empire. Katjurner, I can't pronounce it. In that region, due to certain circumstances, there was a certain youth unwilling mainly preparing to take the High Grand Military Officer exam. His name, Iktat. Disliker of war, lazy, admirer of women. No one predicted that kind of Ikta would later on become a soldier referred to even as a Grand Commander. He who survived a world embroiled in war with his superior genius, Ikta. Illustrating his dynamic, dramatic life, a splendid fantasy military history. The curtain is raised at last. Man, I hope the anime itself isn't as disjointed as that synopsis is. Also, I hope there are words I can actually pronounce. Qualidad Code. Original. The story takes place in a world where people continue their war against the unknown, the enemy of humanity. Children who have been evacuated to a cold sleep facility during the invasion by the unknown several decades ago awake from their slumber and learn that their bodies develop some supernatural forces. In order to protect the country from the unknown emerging from the Tokyo Bay Gate, the boys and girls wage battles in the defense the cities of Tokyo, Kanagawa, and Chiba. How many is several decades ago? Is this to set up a group of teens but their parents are dead so they don't need to be written about? Or is this some Lord of the Flies kind of thing going on? We also have the 4th season of Fate Collide Linear Prisma Star Ilia. And I'm sure I'll get to it once I'm certain watching season 2 does not automatically call the cops on my ass. Love Live Sunshine. Uranohoshi Girls High School, a private school in the seaside neighborhood of Uchiura at Numazu City, Shizuoka Prefecture. A small high school in the corner of Suruga Bay. Is home to 9 teens, led by second-year student Chika Takami, driven by one serious big dream. To become the next generation of bright, sparkling school idols. As long as we don't give up, any dream can come true. All we have to do now is keep pushing hard for fame and glory. Now their school idol project begins to make their dreams come true. Moving right along. New game, based on the 4-koma manga. The main character, Suzukaza Aoba, graduates from high school and joins a game company. The person who had made the game that Aoba loved as a grade schooler just happens to be Aoba's senior at the company. The story follows girls who work and aspire at the Eagle Jump Company. Blah blah blah, joke slamming Gamergate. Hatsukoi Monster, based on the manga. Nikaido Kaho is a daughter of a rich family, and her whole life everyone's been nice to her. When moving to her new high school dormitory, she almost gets hit by a truck, but is saved by a boy. It's love at first sight for Kaho rather. But when asking him his name, he tells her she's weird. Kaho is shocked since it's the first time anyone's ever said mean things to her. Soon enough, she finds out that the boy who saved her life is in the same dormitory, and so she bravely confesses her love. The boy says his name is Kanade and agrees to go out with her. Unfortunately, the following day, Kaho finds out that her first boyfriend is a 5th grader. What the hell, Japan? Amama to Inazumi, Sweetness and Lightning, based on the manga. Kohei Inuzuka is a teacher who has been caring for his little daughter on his own since his wife's death. He's not a good cook, so he and his daughter, Tsumugi, have been eating packaged meals from the convenience store. A series of events leads him one evening to a restaurant run by the mother of one of his students, Kotori. Her mother isn't there, but Kotori does her best to feed them both. It turns out Kotori is often alone since her parents are divorced and her mother is frequently not around. The three of them begin to meet and cook tasty foods together. This is gonna be one of those animes I hope gets 0 fan-made erotica of it. Kono bijutsubu ni wa mondai ga aru, based on the manga. This show focuses on an art club in a certain middle school and its members. Subaru Uchimaki, who is a genius at drawing faces but only wants to draw the perfect 2D waifu. Colette, a rich troublemaker who never stops making mischief. And the club president, who sleeps through sessions and collects sleeping aids. Mizuki Usami is the only person in the club who wants to do art club-like activities, and constantly struggles to do so. Sorry, but after Bakuan, you're gonna be hard-pressed to interest me in another club members messing around anime, no matter how heartwarming this may be. Battery, based on the novel. Meet Takumi Harada, not even in junior high, and he's the best pitcher in the region, although he's frustrated and ready to give up because he can't find a catcher who's good enough to keep up with how he pitches in his backwater town his family has just moved to. Then along comes a kid named Go Nagakura. Man, there's a lot of baseball animes I'm behind on watching. Fukigen na Mono no Kena. The morose Mono no Kena. Based on the manga. Ashiya has spent the first 7 days of high school stuck in the infirmary because of a yokai attached itself to him. He ends up asking the owner of a small tea room called the Mono no Kane for help. This is a tale involving the very morose owner of Mono no Kane and Kena, Mono no Kena, guiding the yokai that happen to wander into this world go to the next world. So how long until the floofball plushie is buyable? Please? 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 Days, based on the manga. The series about two boys named Tsukushi and Jin. Tsukushi is a boy with no special talents or traits, while Jin is considered a soccer genius. On one stormy night, Jin meets Tsukushi and they get dragged into the world of soccer. Man, there's a lot of soccer animes I'm behind on watching. Amanchu, based on the manga. Hikari Kohinata is a cheerful 15-year-old girl who lives near the ocean and has spent much of her time diving as a result. On her first day of high school, she meets a teacher who also likes scuba diving. There's also a 16-year-old classmate, Futaba, who gets dragged along in Hikari's maelstrom as soon as they meet at school. Most of the manga so far details the relationship between the two girls, which quickly seems to move into romantic two-girl friendship territory. It is taking very little willpower to not make the kind of joke you might expect from me, so I'll just move on. Cheer Danshi, based on the novel. The story revolves around the slightly odd and cute members of a cheerleading squad at a men's university. Ah, good, this season also gets a free. Angie Verge, based on the card game. The story of the card game follows what happens when Hyrule portals suddenly open, fusing 3 different worlds together. As a result, various mysterious Exceed powers are awakened in teenage girls. An academy for those so-called Progress Girls is built on the isolated Ceylon Island in the Pacific. Progress. Girls facing destiny against worlds. Ending. That's a terrible acronym and it doesn't even work. The second season of Binnan Koko Chiaku Boebu Love. Saiki Kuso no Sainan, based on the manga. Saiki Kuso has a wide variety of superpowers at his command, including telepathy and telekinesis. This might sound awesome, but in Kuso's experience, superpowers are not all that they're cracked up to be. He tries to live a normal life despite his annoying abilities. I vaguely recall this character from that Shonen Jump crossover arena fighting game. Fudanshi Koko Sekatsu, based on the manga. Sakaguchi is a high school boy and also a Fudanshi who loves boy love stories. He hangs out with his friends, a Fujoshi named Rumi, his gay friend Yujiro, fellow Fundanshi Daigo, and his normal friend Nakamura. There's a joke saying in the back of my mind that I'm unsure if it's insensitive or not, so again, I will just move on. Hitori no Shita, The Outcasts, based on the web manga. One day, Zhang Chulan is attacked by zombies in a graveyard. In the midst of that situation, he saves the life of a girl, throwing the kitchen knife in his hand in order to kill the enemies. The girl tells Chulan, who is relieved, to face his hardships head-on and leaves. However, Chulan later sees that girl again at his university. From that moment, Zhang Chulan's destiny begins to move. There will be strangers with strange powers appearing one by one, with battles involving those abilities. Each episode will bring a new mystery to light. Ah, finally! Destiny has begun to move! B Project. Kodo Ambitious. Based off the... music? Yes, the source reads as music. The anime story follows Tsubasa, a new hire in the A&R department of the major recording company, Gandala Music. Tsubasa is immediately assigned to oversee the idol unit B Project, which is made up of 3 idol groups, Kitakore, Thrive, and Moons. This is Tsubasa's first job, and she gets involved in various incidents and accidents as she deals with this group of young men who each have their own different personalities. What? Young men who each have their own different personalities? In an idol group? Regalia, the 3 Sacred Stars. Original. Sisters Yui and Rena live a peaceful life in the kingdom of Estoria, but they become involved in a vortex of destiny when a giant robot attacks Estoria. So destiny has not only begun to move, but it has spiraled out into a vortex. Good to know. Scar-Red Rider Zex, based on the visual novel. The blue world, which symbolizes reason, is under constant attack by creatures called the Mightfly Ono, originating from the red world, symbolizing instinct. Akira Asagi, the 17-year-old protagonist, who is a researcher at Blue World, is nominated to lead the war at Ryukyu Lag, a proud defense facility on the islands of Ishigaki and Iramote. She meets the 6th Combat Unit IS, which was formed 4 years after a fierce battle that annihilated the 5th Unit. Akari must lead these 6 riders, also called the Scar-Red Rider Zex, to fight against the other world while at the same time deepening the relationship among them. It's funny how the synopsis mentions the girl, but none of the PVs show her. Also, it's a very silly way to spell Scar Red. Makes it look like scared. Scared riders. The second season of Active Raid. I'm looking forward to it because I got more than a few laughs from the first season, and it still scratches that Deca Rangers itch I get. Tsukiyuta, the animation. Music, again with the source being music. In the anime series, the members of Six Gravity and Procellarum are all living in the same dorm building. Hajime, Mutsuki, and Haru Yayoi, the oldest members of Six Gravity, are first-year university students. Each episode of the series will feature a different main character. Wow! Members of Six Gravity and Procellarum? I bet those are people! Oz Mafia, based on the visual novel. The anime will feature an original story from the game on which it is based. What? Sorry, what? No, really. What? Bananya. Original. Bananya is a mysterious cat who hides inside a banana. Bananya lives undercover inside a real banana, and no one has ever seen the part covered by the banana skin. When nobody is around, Bananya secretly plays and creates mischief. Bananya likes to play and eat sweet things. Bananya's dream is to become a stylish chocolate banana. Again. What? There are no plot synopses for either Show by Rock shorts, which seems to be shorts featuring characters from the series Show by Rock, and Puzzle and Dragon Cross, which seems to be an anime tie-in to the 3DS version of the mobile game Puzzle and Dragon. Time Travel Shoujo, Mariwaka to Inin no Kakakusha Tachi, based on the book. Time Travel Shoujo is based on a 1983 book titled Jishaku to Denki no Hatsume Hakken Monogatari by Japanese educator Kiyonobu Itakura. It is part of the Hatsume Hakken Monogatari Zenshu series, which describes the story of various scientific discoveries and inventions throughout history. The 1983 book focuses on discoveries related to magnetism and electricity. Then I can expect a slew of gag screenshots of little girls asking, "Effing magnets, how do they work?" And lastly, Mahou Shoujo, Nadia Girls, original. Urara, Hanabi, and Inaho are three girls who aim to become nationally renowned characters by creating animation of themselves. They choose the magical girl theme to catch the attention of everyone from children to adults. Can they safely become popular characters in one-course magical girl anime? That is an excellent question, and that is the rundown of animes for summer 2016. We've got robots, we've got life dramas, we have the horrible examples of the depths of depraved humanity, and we have Berserk. There's a couple of animes I'm looking forward to on this list, just from the synopsis or PVs, but most of them, I gotta be honest, are sequels. A lot of the animes I'm looking at don't actually strike my fancy too much. But I'm sure I'll be mistaken when it actually starts. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at R2TMIT, as I force myself to watch the first episode of all of these shows as long as they have subs up. I'm Jake, and as always, stay safe.